Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Super Game Brothers and our weekly conversations about HBO's The Last of Us Season 2. Today we're going to be talking about episode number 5. This episode is called Feel Her Love, kind of a nod towards the, what are their names? The Seraphites, I think, and their leader that you saw, like, in the game, the murals of, and the Feel Her Love, like...
And that's not the scars?
It is.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. Seraphites is what they like call themselves, but then scars, because they have those scars here, is the name that the wolves call them, is like the derogatory term, kind of.
I see.
So yeah, that's the name of the episode. This level is this episode of TV was mostly about like what happens as Ellie and Dina are trying to find Nora, who they heard about on the radio last episode, and she works in the hospital. We know that from the game. She worked like really closely with Abby's dad. I don't know if they'll go the same route in the show here, but she works in the hospital. And from the teaser last week, they talked about the basement level of the hospital and the spores being in the air. So we kind of knew that was going to be, or the infection being in the air. So that was kind of the direction that they hinted at last week. And it does go over that with Ellie and Dina doing some other stuff on their way to the hospital. You kind of see both factions, the wolves and the Seraphites, for a minute. And then she has her confrontation with Nora. So anyways, that's kind of super high level. We're going to go through the different scenes, talk about them a bit. Just here at the start, Devin, what'd you think of episode number 5? Did you like it? Okay one? Good one for this season? Bad one for the season? What were your thoughts?
I did like it, yes. So this is the episode with the... Sorry, my memory's not the best, but...
Oh, you're good.
Where they're underground, like, train, crawl through the hole. Or is that number 4?
No, that wasn't this week.
Oh, boy.
That was...
oh, boy.
But that is a cool scene, and this one kind of has cool like visual coloring as well, with like the red returning. But this one, let's just go start through the scene. I guess my high level thoughts. I like the episode. Thought it was pretty good. One of the stronger ones in my opinion. I think especially because it ends on a good note, and I think what's the actress's name? I'm spacing on her name. Bella Ramsey finally kind of looks like scary, mean Ellie at the end of the episode. So with those kind of high-level thoughts, we'll just hop right in. So it starts with kind of a flash to the wolf encampment, and the leader that seems to be second in command to Isaac, the kind of grumpy-looking lady. She's like interrogating another leader at the hospital, saying like, the hospital's too valuable, we can't lose it. Why did you kill your own men? And this kind of manager lady has to tell her the story from, I think it was the previous day, but she sent her son and a squad down into the lower level of the hospital. And I forget exactly everything that they said, but basically the son said they like encounter some infected, they're okay, and then they go down like another level. And he says, it's in the air, seal us in. Was kind of the emotional point there. Very cool, like, delivery, and even though at that point you haven't seen anything down there, just them talking about it, it's like a creepy line, like, seal us in. We know we're about to turn, and it's in the air, also very creepy. So I liked that kind of opening scene talking about her son, and it goes full circle because you do see him a little bit later. So cool opening scene, and then it kind of jumps back to Ellie and Dina. This is Seattle Day 2, and Ellie and Dina, again, just kind of exploring through the theater. Ellie is exploring, looking at the guitars and the musical instruments that are up on the theater stage that were just kind of left there when the outbreak kind of breaks out, and Dina is working on triangulating a path to the hospital that will get them through the wolf. What would you call them? Like the patrols, I guess. And listening to the radio, she kind of comes up with a plan. They're going to go through this long building that it seems like the wolves avoid on purpose. I know a lot of people online had problems with this scene a little bit, where Dina, again, doing like all the strategizing, like drawing stuff on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie walks in and is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm, triangulating." And she's like, "Oh,
yeah.
math. I can help," or something dumb.
Yeah, I remember Dina walking in after Ellie was playing the guitar, and she says, "I figured some things out," and Ellie just says, "Good." Is that this episode? I better be in that episode.
Yeah,
okay.
That one.
And then, yes, I remember the guitar playing, and I'm trying to remember what else happens in this episode. You're gonna have to carry us.
No, it's okay. But yeah, then Dina's standing over the map, kind of drawing everything on there, and I don't know. It is just kind of weird. They kind of just wrote Ellie like, "Yeah, I'll be here as like the muscle with a baby face, and you do all the thinking." So I know that part's got a little bit of flack online. Didn't bug me too bad, but I see where they're coming from. So they decide they're going to at night sneak into that rectangle building that is between the wolf patrol, so that they can get through and get to the hospital. So they do that. The name on the building, I think, was Membronics. I don't know what that means or if that was important at all, but I did write it down here in my notes. But they have this conversation beforehand that they're not going to shoot unless it's absolutely necessary. Again, another bit of writing where Ellie is kind of just shown as like a dumb person. Dina says, like, we're only going to use our knives or run. Those are our two options. And only shoot on last resort. And Ellie's like, "What, you think I only like that I can't follow instructions and I only ever shoot?" And she says, "Yes, literally every single time." And so I don't know, just kind of, again, they decided to write her that way. It's kind of funny, but they get in there, and kind of a creepy scene where they're sneaking around and they finally are like hiding behind this two what look like giant crates or something. And then they look up and see a stalker on top of some crates, like a little ways off, and it like hides.
They say, "Why is it watching us?" or something.
And
okay.
And Dina's like, "Oh, this must be one of the smart ones that you told me about." So they think they can like flank it, and then they turn around and see, like, instead of one, now there's three, and now they're like trying to decide, okay, let's go back out the same way they came. And then they look back, and then I think it's like now like 7 or 8. Like, it's just like a big number. So they're not going to escape out of there, it doesn't seem like. So they come up with a quick plan. Ellie's going to like lure them away since she can't get infected. Dina's going to go hide in like that caged room with like the electrical panels and stuff. That's like a big cage around her. Kind of cool scene. Pretty creepy. What do you think about the stalkers in the...
I remember it in the game very well.
Yeah.
It was a difficult part because they're so obnoxious. They're constantly like kind of back away from you and go to a new corner, and then there's other monsters attacking you.
Yeah, I agree. They're kind of weird to fight in the game because they're like kind of hiding from you, like you said. It was interesting in this episode that one of the stalkers seemed to like almost try to get Ellie's attention so that another one could flank in from the side, and it kind of like tackled her, which was... I don't know. I feel like they're trying to make the stalkers maybe even smarter than I think they should be to match the game.
That's what I've been thinking with this show is every single time they're showing the monsters or the zombies or whatever you want to call them, the infected.
Yeah.
They seem to be more powered than they were in the game. More connected, like they're like almost communicating through the ground or through the air at this point. They might be texting each other, honestly.
I do like that it makes them seem more scary.
Yeah, they're more of a threat.
Which is it gives the show a little more like of a thrill and a like scary vibe, which I like. But yeah, it doesn't like match perfectly with the game, which I guess is fine. It's not going to and everything.
That was my this is just a random side note, but it was my problem with The Walking Dead was that there were so many zombies, yet they posed very minimal threat for the most part.
Yeah,
They were almost
especially
a joke.
after the first couple seasons, like they were no longer the threat, like at all.
Oh yeah, they're
Almost ever.
like, let's not even build a fence. If they come by, we'll just stab them in the face.
Yeah, or Michonne's got a sword now, so we're good.
Oh shoot!
and a tiger or something. But yeah, I totally agree. I'm gonna sneeze, so
Perfect.
yeah, it left as sneezes do, but yeah, so I agree. Kind of seems like they're a little too smart, but it's a good scene. Ellie's tackled. Dina's hiding in the cage room, and the stalkers are like ripping the caging off, so they're about to get to her too. And then bang, 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 gunfire. Um, and lo and behold, Tommy is in Seattle. Nope, not Tommy. Who are we talking about? It was
Joel.
Jesse. Sorry. Jesse is in Seattle. He says that he came with Tommy. They've kind of been following them, found the theater, and he found her map. So that's why he knew where they were, and luckily saved them just in the nick of time. It was maybe a little bit too perfect how he like found them in the nick of the time, right when they're like 20 seconds from dying.
Uh-huh.
But kind of suspending disbelief, that happens in almost every movie or TV show where like things have a timer. It's almost always down to the wire. So I won't hold that against it too much.
And I don't remember if it touched on this, but do we know what Tommy's doing? Is he getting coffee? Like, why is he not in there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't remember if Jesse mentioned where Tommy was, other than that he wasn't there with them at the moment. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see in the episode coming up. Maybe they'll tell us where Tommy has been. Because yeah, I would have thought he would be right there with Jesse, since he did say that they came together. But I really like Jesse. He, I think the actor that plays him does a really good job. He looks almost identical. It might be the same actor from the game. I'm not even 100% sure.
Oh, it's that close? I don't remember.
I don't know if it's like. It seems very close in my head, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyways, they have to kind of run out of there. And as they run out of there, they obviously run into the wolf patrols because they know they patrol all around this building. And so they start shooting at them. And they have to run into what kind of looks like a big Central Park kind of area in this city, which matches like the forest vibes from the game. So it's kind of like a stark change. All of a sudden they're just, well, bam, in like a park that looks like a forested area. And in there, they run into these Seraphites, and they string up the wolf and disembowel in there, which was pretty grody. And then you hear some whistling, and you know that they have seen Ellie and Dina and Jesse. And so they're trying to escape. Dina gets shot in the leg with an arrow, which is different than the game. In the game, she stayed back at the theater because she was pregnant and feeling like really sick. But this will be another probably good way for them to have her be back at the theater so that Ellie can go to the aquarium with Owen and Mel alone. I was trying to remember in the game why Jesse didn't go with Ellie to the aquarium. And I can't remember if they just got separated or if Jesse decided to stay back and help Dina at the theater. So maybe it is a 1-to-1 match there. But anyway, she gets shot in the leg. And then Ellie tells Jesse, take Dina back to the theater. And I'll distract them, kind of lead them a different direction. And as she's leading them a different direction, she sees the hospital through the trees in the forest. So she has to decide in that moment kind of what she's going to do. Is she going to try and make it back to the theater or go to the hospital? And she chooses hospital. And then this part pretty closely follows the game. I think she finds Nora in the kind of medical room in the hospital where Nora's like cleaning some medical equipment or something, and they have almost the exact same discussion where it seems like Nora maybe was going to like stand down and maybe even like beg for forgiveness, and then she like really leans into the other way, like, he got exactly what that coward deserves, and then throws like the liquid at her, runs away, and then leads to the Ellie and Nora chase, which is a really cool part in the game where you chase her like through
Yeah.
many levels of the hospital, and then you do end up like a level down, and you have the big fight in that room with the infected down there in the red lights. But in the game, in the show, they just kind of have that chase, and she gets like on top of the elevator cord breaks, Nora falls down quite a ways, and Ellie has to climb down. And they do finally end up down in that sealed area because the elevator kind of broke and took them down. What did you think, if you remember this scene, about the way that they did the spores? I thought it was pretty cool. They the area there, which is meant to have been like ground zero for the virus 20 years ago. I guess it's like 25 years ago at this point, in Seattle. And so, like, it's just been festering there in this floor of the hospital so much that anyone that's infected there is kind of like kept alive by it and is kind of like morphed into the wall. And any air that they breathe out is like what is filling the air with spores. And so that character's son at the beginning, who was talking about her son being sealed in, he's one of the ones that's still alive, but
but it's part of the
kind of
wall.
part of the wall, even after only a day or however long.
That's kind of cool that it continues to morph or transform the longer it molds or whatever you want to call it. Reminds me of Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what you think about it.
I liked it too. I thought it was a very cool looking scene. They have some really good sets for the different scenes here, even though it felt pretty drastic, like them running from the city to bang the middle of like a park that looks like a forest. Like that park looks a lot like that section in the game where there's like big leafy bushes that Ellie's hiding in to hide from the Seraphites, with the whistling and very creepy scene. And then down here on the second floor of the basement, with the spores floating in the air and the people that are newly infected just kind of frozen into the walls. Very cool, like imagery, for sure. Then we get to the scene where Ellie is going to then catch up to Nora, obviously, since she can't become infected, and Nora is now like struggling to survive. So she catches up with her. Nora says, like, why'd you chase me down here? You've killed both of us. And Ellie's reply is, did I?
Did I? I do remember that.
Yeah.
I think I was dozing in and out a little bit while watching this.
That's funny. I like the scene. The red color from like the emergency lights, like, just is the perfect hue for the scene. I think that, like most things this season, I think the game does handle it just a little bit better. Where one of my favorite parts of the game is this part where Ellie's deciding, like, okay, if I can't get Nora to quickly tell me where Abby is, I'm gonna have to get it out of her another way before she dies to this infection. And so, like, in the game, the camera focuses on Ellie's face, and then with her just like looking mad and holding the steel pipe, and then a button prompt comes up with the button square, and you have to push it to initiate her like torturing Nora, which is such like a powerful scene because it kind of like pulls you in.
Oh yeah,
there's no way around it. If you sit there, it'll just wait for you to push square. But
you're just forced to do that.
Yeah, action. You have to do it, but it makes you like kind of complicit in that way. So a very cool moment in the game. I think the way they did it here in the show was handled pretty well too, though. Where they have this back and forth, do you know what he did? And, oh, you're her, like the same discussion. You're the immune girl. I think this is the first time in the show where Ellie like finally looked like a little mean. I don't even know if mean is the right word, but how she acted, it was very like, she kind of like cut like all emotion off. She looked like very like straight faced and kind of like, I don't even know, like she's out of her own body, like watching herself do this. And, but I thought it was the first time where she did look like, okay, she looks scary and with like the same vibe and energy that Ellie had here, even though she doesn't quite look like Ellie's character, which is fine. I don't know. Did you notice that at all, like in her vibe or face?
I remember their conversation
Yeah.
all about what Joel did. And did Ellie tell her like I already knew?
Yeah.
Like I'd already put it together.
Yeah.
Type of a thing.
I think she says like Nora's trying to like explain like, do you know what he did? Like, well, then she says like, I know, or something along those lines. Just kind of again confirmation, and to give like the audience a look at it from the other direction. Like, if you know what he did, like, there's no way you could be on his side. But Ellie totally is. But should she be? It's like, yeah, it's a big mess and heavy questions for sure. But I did like that scene because Bella Ramsey, I think, acted it pretty well and did look pretty scary at that point. But I think that is basically how the episode ended. So this is kind of a quick one, where they had that scary scene. Jesse saves him. Dina gets shot in the leg with an arrow. She's back at the theater with Jesse, and Ellie continues. In the show, it's not really like continues, but this is like the first time that she's committed to the revenge journey, because this is the first one of Abby's friends that she has killed in the show. In the game, there was one more before Nora. The one where she like cut his face with a knife and Dina fell through the glass. So they like catch Ellie and put her in handcuffs like to a table, and then Dina has to come save her, but she falls through the ceiling, and it's a whole thing. But anyways, in the show, this is the first one, and so being able to see Bella Ramsey act it pretty well, and it be like the first event, like righteous kill, I guess, if you would call it that, does make it seem like, okay, she's committed now. And then when you get to the next time on the Last of Us section, it's all about Joel. So it seems like it's just kind of showing you that, okay, she's committed, and this is why. We're going to show you in the next episode, probably, all about Joel and what was going on for the 5 years prior to this and before he died. And then it will continue with the season finale, probably with the Mel and Owen scene, which is a very brutal one. So, anyways, I thought it was a good episode. Kind of got us there to Nora. It was a good scene with Nora. The changes with Tommy and Jesse, I still don't fully understand, but I hope that they get to a good place with them. So, anyways, my opinion, pretty good episode. Not the strongest one, but not the weakest one either. Any last thoughts, Devin? Or you agree with me all the way around?
Just confirmed to me that I definitely was falling asleep a little bit. You're saying things, I'm like, I saw that part, but I don't remember this part.
Yeah, I made up the whole thing.
It could have fooled me, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
All right, well, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out episode 6's Spoilercast. That one should be on Patreon for a little bit, and then will be also public on YouTube a few weeks later. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for episode 6.